And then to be sat in a room with, and he actually exists, like he's someone that shouldn't exist.
Hi, my name's Amber. I'm here with Cineworld and we are so excited to be bringing Jurassic World Rebirth to the big screen around the UK. So first of all, sir, this film is visually stunning, so impressive, and it felt like you were really bringing us back to the roots of the Jurassic franchise. It felt grounded, if I'm not mistaken, more practical than CGI, and also so focused on character development. What was your inspiration behind how you directed this movie?
Basically not screw it up, really. It was like, it's such a high bar, like what Spielberg did with Jurassic Park is a masterpiece, really. And so it felt, I would have gone, I can't do this, I don't want to do this. But because it was Steven, I call him Steven now.
Love that you're on first name, basically best friends.
No, I don't, he's Mr. Spielberg, right? They sort of offered this, you can't say no, it's my hero, it's the reason I became a filmmaker. And so there's just no version where you say no to that. And so then it becomes, oh my God, how do we do this? And so for me, like in terms of visual effects, making believable dinosaurs have kind of peaked, 20 years ago. They got really good at that. And so one of the things I really wanted to do was go to actual real world locations and make the world as believable as possible. And so we went to like Southeast Asia, we went to this whole bay in Thailand with these giant limestone cliffs, this sort of primeval landscape, and then and also this whole ocean sequence in the movie. We were in the Mediterranean in Malta, and so yeah, and it was really just trying to keep it. It was a bit like what I said to the crew at the beginning. Was I wanted to feel like Universal Studios went into their vaults, and they were just tidying it, and they found this reel, and they were like, "What's this? Jurassic World Rebirth," and then. What is this? And they put it on, and it's like they found a movie from the early 90s or something that they'd forgotten they'd made. And so aesthetically, everything that we're trying to do was just feel like that kind of nostalgic, my goal ultimately was to make a kid in the audience feel like I felt when I watched the original Jurassic Park, which is kind of an impossible task. Because that movie is...
I feel like you achieved it, though.
No.
I think you did. I mean, there were so many moments in this film where I felt like they were nods to great moments from other films. So with the Spinosauruses and the fins in the water, that reminded me of Jaws.
Yeah.
And then the bit with the Quetzalcoatlus in the abandoned ancient temple, it was very Indiana Jonesy.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've already mentioned Mr. Spielberg. What was it like working with him? Because those felt very inspirational from some of his great films. What was that process like? How collaborative was it?
He's great. He's got amazing advice. He basically, whenever you're in a room with him, which is not like all the time, but whenever you are, it feels surreal. Because I grew up kind of just really like examining his career and going, how do you get to do that? When you're a kid trying to become a filmmaker, like how on earth do you have a career like this? And then to be sat in a room with, and he actually exists, like he's someone that shouldn't exist. No, he has great advice. He has some like really solid, really quick advice half the time. And one of them that really stood out to me was in one of the sequences, I won't say which, but we were doing this one sequence, and he was like, Gareth, it's like films is a bit like a meal, and the ideal version is that the audience leave just slightly hungry, and then they'll come back to the restaurant. Like, don't make them full. And I was like, that's really, because you think you've failed as a chef if the people don't leave full, right? Mm-hmm. But in cinema, it's a little bit different. Like you want them to leave the cinema, go buy another ticket and queue up again, right?
You want to leave them wanting a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Wanting a sequel. Yeah.
Otherwise, they're done, and that's the end of it. And so it was like really interesting, and I'd never really thought about it that way. And so that was really useful throughout the whole of the editing as well.
We are showing this film in 4DX. I don't know if you've encountered 4DX cinema before.
Right.
Super immersive. The seats move kind of in tune with the action of the film. The sounds, the smells, the lights. There's like fake snow. It's awesome. Why do you think that action is such a fun genre for people to experience in 4DX in a cinema?
Well, I mean, the goal of a filmmaker is to make the audience feel like they're really in this situation, right? Really having this experience. And so, obviously with things like 4DX, it adds to the whole environment. I think I would just basically, my advice to people would be bring a cagoule, because there's a massive ocean sequence, and I don't know what you've got planned for that, but I imagine you're going to get a little bit wet.
Yeah, I think we definitely have the rain effects planned for that.
Right.
That is all that we've got time for today, Gareth. It was such a pleasure talking to you. Congratulations on a beautiful film.
Oh, no,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We're not gonna let you get hurt, okay?
Then was a source.
We found it?
No, it found us.